Hi everyone, my name is Pawan. Uh, as part of the video that I'm making today, I'm going to cover a question which is to do with promisifying a function, a very specific use case, not all kinds of function. We'll go over the function that we want to promisify. And if you have seen my previous videos, you would by now know that I'm trying to record videos of questions which I believe could get asked during a front-end interview questions. And this has been a question from what I know has been asked by a few companies. So let's go about implementing this. So let's first understand what the question is about, right? So we have a function which actually can take multiple arguments. So it can take n number of arguments, and then it has an argument all the way to the end, which is the callback. So the last argument is going to be a callback. What does callback do? So the callback is going to have an error and data. Obviously, if there's an error, it's going to do something, and if there is a data, then it would go into the else block as shown over here. But the most important thing is that it could have n number of arguments, and now you are supposed to promisify this function in such a way that you promisify func, and then you have the then and catch which you could use to get the data. You could use async await also in this case. Cool. So let's go about implementing this. So the first thing is that it is going to return a function. It's going to return a function which actually is going to return a promise. So we are not returning the promise directly because we have to take the arguments, right? So all these arguments that you're getting. So if you see over here, you're promising the promisify is a func, and then it's returning a function which actually would have a promise, which is basically comprising of resolve and reject. The reason why we have to do this is because we need access to all the arguments that is passed to it, and then we are returning a new function over here. Right now, this is where it's this is where understanding the question becomes very important. So the main key was that the callback is going to be the last argument, and what we are going to do is we are going to take advantage of that, and we are going to push into list of arguments and function at the end, which is going to help us get the data and error, and us being able to then call the resolve and reject. So now what we're going to do is to the function, we are going to pass the arguments, but now I'm going to concat a function at the end, which is going to be the callback, which is error and data, right? So if error, we just return reject with error. If not, we are going to resolve with data. So that's most likely the solution. Let's go over the solution again. We are returning a function which takes arguments, which has all the arguments, which is going to be arg1, arg2, and n arguments. We're going to return a promise. The main key is that we're going to invoke the function here within the promise, passing the context to it, but we are going to concat or push into the arguments a value at the end, which is going to be the callback function, which has got two arguments as part of it, which is the error and the data. And if you see the error, we're going to reject it. If not, we're going to resolve it. Cool. So let's try running this and see if this works. Awesome. So this is promisify for the function. And as I said, it's important that you do understand the question before you start coding. Take your time, understand the question, and then start coding. I have made that mistake. I tend to jump to build the solutions, and that's often the worst thing you can do, because you might put yourself into a bad situation because you might not have understood the question appropriately, and you might take a track which was not intended for the question being asked. Cool. Thank you, folks.